Hey guys, and welcome back to another video on Loomian Legacy. Today we are going to be doing something different. We're going to be making a top 25 list of the best Loomians in the game. Now keep in mind, these are my opinions. You guys are definitely going to have different thoughts about these Loomians, but let's just get straight into it. I already got them in a box, all in order, so let's get started. At number 25, I would say Trumbull. Now, this might surprise some of you guys. Trumbull is very underrated. When Sephiroth City came out, a lot of people thought that this thing was gonna drop down a lot because, well, typeless can't hit metal. But people forget this thing has Mega Chomp, so that's just blown out the window. I could have put this higher, but I never, because there are more melee walls in the game than ranged. So, anyways, this thing also has Battle Horn. Battle Horn is what makes this thing really good because, first of all, if your status, you're getting rid of that status completely the first time you use it, that is, and you're boosting your melee and melee attack and defense, which is good. This thing has pretty high melee defense and melee attack, so yeah. And yeah, so Trumbull can also you can run it defensively or offensively, which is really good. I'm running defensively on this one, but I do want to get an offensive one. It can also deal a lot of damage with brute force. Even virtuoso is really good on this thing. I can help you set up more battle horns, which is really good. And yeah, so Trumbull definitely very underrated. It's also got pretty good moves as well. Again, it's got Mega Chomp. This can help with like Tatabs, and again, it can hit metal types with it. And then it's also got Raging Tackle, and we know that move's insanely strong. And I'm also running Stretch. You want Quick Pounce. If you're running Sluggish, I don't have Stretch on this. Yeah, okay. You can run Stretch mainly off on offensive ones, but if you get one Stretch off, all your moves are pretty much a Quick Pounce. So yeah. That's it for Trumbull. Definitely very underrated. Okay, moving on to number 24, Revenine. Now, I did trade my Revengeance one away because, well, that one was kind of trash. Anyways, Revenine, it's probably the best revenge killer in the game. Yeah, I would say it's the best revenge killer in the game. It's really fast. It has some pretty good moves too. The moveset's not finished on this one, but it has Ghostly Howl, Spectral Burst, Mega Chomp, Dark Surge, Shadow Sprint, and Fire Breath. People are dropping Mega Chomp for Dark Surge on this one. I just want to point this out real quick. You don't need to do that. Mega Chomp can help you hit stuff like Infernix better, which is really good. So I just want to point that out real quick. Anyways, the fact that whenever one of your Loomians gets taken out, you bring this thing in, and they're double power, something's getting hit really hard or dying, which is really good, you know. Licking Cleaner is gonna love that a lot, and because like Zulong is kind of everywhere now, yeah, this thing's really good. It's also got priority, so this thing can't outspeed like. It can outspeed a lot of things, but there are some things that can still outspeed it, but it does have Shadow Sprint for it, so that's fine. And it can also hit pretty decently hard too. And it's got some pretty good moves, I already said that. And even Temper and Scorching Skin is good. So free to play is also gonna like Revenine a lot. That's all I can really say about Revenine. The only thing that's holding it down is that it's very frail. Yeah. So, anyways, moving on. Ursel. Ursel comes in at number 23. Ursel is also one of the Loomians that can take care of Trumbull, which is why it's kind of down here too. And this thing's also got pretty good amount of utility. It can tip you down and slap your items off, which is really good. I think that's a decent utility, not good. Anyways, this thing has pretty decent ranged bulk too. People are running very clever Ursels to stop Mewtwo because Mewtwo has got Peace of Mind. It's got pretty decent defenses, and it actually has really high melee attack as well. And because of it, you can run Terrifying. You don't really need to run Sharp Claws. because his melee attack is already so high. Or you can run Sharp Claws and just completely abuse that, but yeah, okay. Yeah, you're still, I would say, really good. It's also got a quick punch. It's also got priority. I don't know, I said quick punch only. It's also got a priority with high melee attack. That is really good. So this, you can also run sluggish on this thing. So if you don't want to lower any of your defenses, which is good. And there's just a lot you can do with this thing. So I think your soul is fine at number 23. The reason why it's not higher because things like Obsidian and Vesperatu exist, Tyrex, etc. Which is why this thing's only 23. But again, I still think your soul's pretty good. Tartiki, my secret ability went away right now. With one of my friends because he really wants to use the Tartiki, so I just gave it to him for now. Anyways, Tartiki, it comes in at number 22. Tartiki has been good, except when it first came out because, well, it couldn't really do much. It had such bad defenses, and there's just so many other fire types that were just better than this thing that you could use. But now, because it has better defenses, well, that's had better defenses. It actually got buffed a while ago. I don't know what I'm saying. But anyways, this thing can hit really hard. It's also got really good coverage with Fire Breath, Muck Blast, and Life Drain. It's also got Toxic Spores, Rejuvenate, and Provoke, which are pretty good, and Scapegoat. I don't know if I said Scapegoat, but yeah, it's got a pretty good move pool. It's got good defenses. Well, actually, it doesn't have good defenses. It has decent defenses, but it has a pretty good amount of health. So yeah, its speed isn't too great, but you can run Nimble if you want to. That can let you outspeed like Borox and possibly even Guard Drones even, which is good. And yeah, that's why I think Tartiki is really good. It can take care of stuff like Luminami, which are in my opinion is pretty high. Stratosaur, it can check. Malmric, it can also keep in check. Tyrex, it can just counter. There's a lot of things up here that I can actually check and counter, which is really good. Yeah, so that's why I think Tartiki's number 22. I think a lot of people can agree it's a pretty good Loomian. So yeah, moving on to number 21, we have Garlash. I actually don't have Garlash, so mine's still in training. So yeah, we're just gonna talk about it still though. Still gonna talk about it. God, my English is so off today. Well, that's actually always off. Anyways, Garlash, it's kind of like a worse version of Hunter with less coverage, but it can hit harder. That's the thing. It still has like a pretty good moveset. You can run like Chili Chomp, Mega Chomp, Provoke, Vicious Snap, Toxic Tail, and I'm definitely missing a couple more. I'm pretty sure also in Aqua Judge you can use. Oh yeah, Primal Slash. Yeah, that thing. It's got a lot of moves it can use. Again, it's also very fast. It's got a pretty good speed tier. Its defenses aren't like the worst, but they aren't the best either. But that thing can just hit so hard and just get a lot chipped down. It can just chip down a lot of things. So stuff like Zulong or Hunter itself can just clean up late game. And yeah, I think it has fallen off a bit because of the amount of what do you call it? The melee walls that we have. The Obsidian had been getting, it fell off a bit, but now it's coming back up. Illuminami is also a thing. Yeah, stuff like that. I definitely put that thing down. But it's still a pretty good Loomian to use. Moving on to number, this is 20, right? Yeah, it's okay. Number 20, we have Zulong. Now Zulong it's probably the, wait, no, it's got really good utility. It's got Dodge, Ancient Roar, Tase, and it also got moves. It also has pretty good coverage with Thunder Strike and Elemental Burst. It's really good. It's also got Chili Chomp if you want to run it. Yeah, it's got Chili Chomp for like Flora and Gastroke and like the plants that could wally. I mean, no one really runs those anymore, so that's why people are dropping it for like Days and running like Awakening, Utility Noodle, or if you want to run Brute Force, run Dodge. It's also like one of the fastest Loomians in the game right now, so it can be used as utility really well. Also can hit decently hard too. Again, it's a starter, so it has a pretty good energy pool as well. And it can also, I'm pretty sure I decided, but Brute Force can actually let it hit pretty hard too. So it can also get a lot of chip off, even though you're going to use it for leaking cleaning anyway, so yeah. I should just pivot out in an early game. That's really when you're going to use it, so. Anyways, it's got enough attack to be leaking cleaner anyway, so yeah. The only thing holding it down is stuff like Malmerk and Setting Mars. It can also keep Protogon in check, which is also really good about it. Because they're both going to be used in late game most likely. Or just going to come in first turn to just possibly KO something. Or in Zulong's case, pivot out. So yeah, I think Zulong's really good. It's also got really low defenses, which is holding it down. And it's also got Tyrex, Chartiki, Zedamars, Malmerk. I've already said a couple of those. Infernix, I'm pretty sure can also keep it in check. That is. Trying to think. Very clever Trumbull can probably keep this thing from just doing anything, really. Yeah. So this thing does have its counters here and there, which has kind of held it down. But I think 20 is fine for Zulong, and yeah, Zulong's pretty good. So, moving on. Number 19, Sachi. Now, Sachi has gone through a lot. At first, it was completely trash. It had a terrible moveset. It was so frail. Lost so many things out speed, and couldn't hit hard enough. So it was like the worst Loomian in the entire game. But then it got a couple of buffs, which has brought this thing pretty high up. When it got that buff, it was like around like B8 tier. And then when Totems came around, you got 2 personality traits with Smart Nimble, which also boosts this thing up quite a bit. And also got Elemental Burst too, so it actually had a moveset with Peace of Mind and Health Gift, and Foul Channel obviously, which also got a buff, making it hit really hard, and Sharp Focus taking care of that low accuracy. So this thing rose up a lot, but when the Zephyr City came out, the amount of metal types kind of did hold this thing down, although it could still hit pretty hard, so it could actually chip down the metal types a decent amount, which still kept this thing pretty high up. But it did fall off a bit. But now it's back in because now it has Pyrokinesis to take care of those metal types, which has boosted this thing up so much. Because the amount of coverage this thing has now is insane. And because of how hard it hits, yeah, you can tell where this is going. And also, it's pretty decently fast too. It's got like a base 89 speed, I want to say. Yep. Base 89 speed. It's pretty fast, I'd say. Or decently fast. Yeah, there are some stuff that I can outspeed it. But yeah, Sachi's ability to just hit really hard and now actually take care of stuff like Stratosaur, which is really high in the meta, is just really good. So I think Sachi is coming in at number 19. Coming in number 18 though, sorry, just we're back. Coming in at number 18, we have Setting Mars. This thing is a ranged wall. It's now starting to get more mixed defensive because of the amount of melee attacker and ranged attackers are kind of like, they're more balanced now, so people are starting to run mixed defensive Setting Mars. But again, you can still run this thing as a ranged wall. This thing eats up ranged hits and is also able to now take care of what it always was, but people run Chase Down instead of Blaze Chomp. But now, because people are running Blaze Chomp, Stratosaur can also be dealt with pretty well. Please just wall its hits. It can also take care of stuff like Valkyrie, Zulong, maybe kind of ish Sachi, a Revenine, Ikazune. It can also take care of, and it can keep Hunter in check. They can also keep Vesperatu in check, and it can also take care of Joltooth. yeah. But there are some things about it. Things like Lunami can just stick, and like Shartiki, if you're running life drain, can just hold this thing down. And the amount of melee attackers in this game have also kind of held this thing down. But then again, people are running mixed defensive. Things like Malmark are there. In some cases, Skellig are there. There's a lot of water types that came in this meta that did kind of hold Sedimars down. But just being able to sponge up range hits is really good. You can also take care of Protagon because of that, and also to Clips. I forgot about the Clips. You can also take care of the Clips. So yeah, I think Sedimars is pretty decent at number 18. Definitely a really good Loomian still. Anyways, moving on, Mewtwo. Mewtwo got a buff. It now has Peace of Mind. This thing is that's bright down to like right up to all the way to like B plus to like A or A minus tier, and now it is now coming in at number 17 on the list. Things got great setup with Stretch and Peace of Mind. And it's also got great moves such as Resonate and Raging Howl. So this thing can just completely nuke. And if you look at its rage attack, yeah, this thing's really good. Some things that can hold it down is its energy pool. That's the one thing that's holding it down right now. And like stuff like Your Soul and Vesperatu and stuff like that, it's kind of things like that are holding it down a bit. But if you get some Peace of Mind going, that's not gonna be too big of a problem. And it's also pretty slow, so that's why I'm running very nimble. You don't need to run very nimble, running smart nimble, maybe something like that. And Tone Deaf obviously making this thing making nuke things. And the reason why I've put this higher than Trumbull is because there's more melee walls than ranged walls. And so that's why I've put it higher than Trumbull. It's also got Virtuoso, so that can actually make Resonate and Raging Howl cheaper because they are technically sound moves. So that's really good. Yeah, Peace of Mind has definitely made this thing really good. So Mewtwo comes in at number 17. Alright, so number 16 is Tyrex. Now, Tyrex is able to get a lot of chip off of Loomians. This is an offensive Tyrex. But people are starting to run more defensive Tyrexes. And that helps with Vesperatu, Hunter, the better Obsidian, Protagon, and also you can also counter Joltooth, Valkyrie, possibly even Mewtwo. Yeah, so people are starting to run defensive Tyrexes, which is pretty good. Defensive Tyrex is pretty good. So it is able to take care of a lot of melee attackers, such as like Vesperatu, and also a couple of the ranged attackers, such as Valkyrie and like Mewtwo. So it can also check a pretty good amount of things and check Ikazune as long as you outspeed it. You can also check, I think Your Soul can check. Terrifying Your Soul, I'm pretty sure can check. But yeah, I think Tyrex is pretty good. With the introduction of Steel Crusher, instead of having to having to like resubtrate from Complete Evolution, it doesn't have to anymore. And Steel Crusher is a pretty solid move too, having a chance to raise your attack stat, which is really good. And again, it can also set up pretty well with Scapegoat and Power Focus. Earth Metal is also pretty good typing, in my opinion. So I think Tyrex is actually a really good Loomian right now. Definitely way better than it was last meta. So yeah, I think number 16 is fine for Tyrex. Okay, now entering number 15. These are the top 15 best Loomians in the game right now. Okay, number 15, Garbantis. Garbantis has been good ever since it came out. It still is good because it can counter stuff like Obsidian. It can check Hunter. Unless you're a very nimble Sharp Claws, and I'm pretty sure you can actually counter. Actually, you can't counter. Yes, you can. You can only still check it. You might be able to check Protagon. I'm not sure. You can definitely check Smart Protagon. Who else? You can check Luminami. I think. I'm not sure actually. No, I'm pretty sure Luminami checks Garbantis. You can check. You can check Exune. I'm pretty sure you can counter Malamurk, and I'm pretty sure you can also counter Joltooth. Who else? You can check Sachi. You can probably counter Trumbull. You counter Tyrex. You counter Sedimars. So this thing's got a lot of checks and counters going for it towards it. It's not much I can really counter. I mean, Stratosaur, Luminami. That's all I can really see so far. Everything else kind of gets like checked, or either takes a lot of damage or gets checked. And if you get some burrows going, especially with the people running very nimble now, if you get some burrows going, then you're golden. You can just completely steamroll everything with battering ram. Unless it's like Stratosaur or something like that, they like resist battering ram. I mean, they'll still do a lot, unless you're like 4-time resisting in your melee wall. But yeah, it's also got a pretty good amount of utility. It's got like Provoke, Poison, and well, Burrow, which is a good utility right there, and Clay Slap with the being able to lower speed 100% of the time. And again, it's also pretty fast. Actually, no, it's pretty fast too. It is insanely frail when it comes to the range side, and it has a pretty like average energy pool. But I think Garbantis is fine here. Not down, but like at number 15. Moving on, number 14, Valkyrie. Now Valkyrie, every update it has gotten a little bit better, but now it's kind of at its peak. At the start of the game, it wasn't too great. No one really used it. Then next patch came out, it's a bit better, but again, not many people really used it. And then it's kind of just got better and better to the point where it's now, where it's like, it's just really good now actually. Magnify has made this thing a really good wall breaker. Some people run like defensive ones with Magnify. As a tank is better, so then they can just start setting up Magnifies and just steamroll. And some people are running very nimble to try and outspeed more things. And then some people like me are just running smart nimble, being able to hit hard and outspeed a couple things. So Magnify definitely improved this thing a lot. It's also got really good moves. It's got Raging Howl, Metal Blast, it's got Flash and Flee, Rejuvenate, Magnify, obviously. If you want, you run Power Focus with like a Holy Slash mixed attacker set, like Gamma Pulse. It's got Air Blade, Nosedive if you want a mixed attacker, or it's a melee attacker for some reason. Yeah, this thing's got a lot of moves too to use. This is one of the movesets people are running. They're not running Light Stab, they're just running Metal Blast, Raging Howl, which is really good coverage right there. And then obviously, its defenses are also pretty decent. It's got pretty good natural bulk, as we can see here. Yeah, it's also one of the, if you run Clever Valkyrie, you can actually pretty sure counter to clips, and you can also keep Sachi at bay. And also, if you want to run like no item for the memes, you can check Vesperatu. You can probably counter Obsidian. You counter this. Yeah. You can counter this now. Let's do the Magnify. You can counter this if you have Gamma Pulse. I don't think without Gamma Pulse you probably still counter it because it just can't do anything to you. You can hit this thing really hard. I think I can counter this. Let's do the Raging Howl. I think maybe. It can probably counter Mewtwo as well. And you can check Garbantis. And I think you can check Ikazune too. So I think Valkyrie is, number 14 is pretty good for Valkyrie. I'm pretty sure that's a pretty good spot. Moving on to number 13, we have Malamurk. Another fat water type. That's what we need, right? If Loomian wasn't good enough, well, now we have Malamurk. So, a lot of people are running range defensive Malamurk. So just running ranged wall Malamurk. That's what I'm also running. Because on the melee side, you already have bulk up, which boosts your melee attack and your melee defense. You can see here, this thing's just a balloon with pretty decent defenses. It's also a mixed attacker. It has plant and water stab on both ranged and melee attacks. And it also has this like Mega Chomp. What else does it have? I don't know. I haven't really checked Malmerk's moves too much. But it's also got Hydro Slash if you really want. Aqua, I feel like it is better though. And it's also got healing with photosynthesis. You can also run Sap Plant if you want. But yeah, this thing is just a ranged sponge. And if you set bulk ups, then you're going to be hitting pretty hard. And your melee defense is also going to be pretty high too. So, yeah, I think Malmerk is pretty good at number 13. Yeah, it can counter stuff like Zulong. It's one of the things that can actually counter Protagon too. It can counter Stratosaur too. It can counter, let's see, actually never mind. It can counter Obsidian. I'm pretty sure it can also counter Infernix. It can counter Luminami, Setimars, Tyrex, maybe Garbantis. I'm not sure. Actually, I don't think it can. It can do a lot to it, but yeah, I think you can check. I think you counter Sachi. I'm not sure. I'll have to check later. You just counter Zulong. I'm pretty sure I already said that though. If Chartiki doesn't have Muck Blast, you can counter it. And I don't think you can counter Trumbull. Yeah, I don't think you can counter Trumbull. But this thing can check and counter a lot of things here. I'm pretty sure I think you can check Hunter. Maybe, I'm not sure. But this thing can check and counter a lot of things. Yeah. I think number 13 is fine for Malmerk. Okay. Moving on to number 12, we have Ikazune. Magnify has completely made the thing insane. Energize was good, but it wasn't like something you can use like a wall break. But now since you have Magnify, this thing is crazy now. Just using one move can get you +2 range attack, which is insane. This thing nuking everything right now. If you have a secret ability and you get +1, oh well, that's an easy sweep right there. Like even without the secret ability, Raging Fire alone is just really good right now. Because there are like a pretty good amount of fire types in the meta, such as Infernix, Chartiki, other stuff. Revenine, yeah. Like Asachi with Pyrokinesis now. Yeah, there's a lot of fire type moves, Blaze Chomp, that things run. So Raging Fire is also pretty good. And it's also got really good moves with Fire Breath and Thunder Strike. It's also got Energy Surge if you really want. People are running that here and there. I'm pretty sure it is gonna get more popularity because Jamie just made an Ikazune video that's running an Energy Surge. But it's also got Flash and Fleet for utility. You can run Energy Orb to help with this utility. And it's got monstrous range attack too. It's a mixed attacker too. With like, you can run like Thunder Crash. I can also ignore the TPs. I don't know what I was doing with this. It's also got, I'm pretty sure, the highest energy stat in the game. Hold on. Does it? Let me just check Krakaloa stats. Let's see. No, it's tied with the highest energy stat in the game too, which is really good. So with Energy Orb, you can just spam attacks, which is good. So I think Ikazune is number 12 right now. Number 11 is Luminami. Last patch, I definitely would have put Luminami up here, but because of stuff like Soul Drain, stuff of Ops, and a Malmerk, this thing has fallen down a bit. Luminami, it's a slow pivot. It's got some utility going for it, and it also has a lot of moves it can use. So it's got a lot of coverage. It can hit plant types like Malmerk too, which is really good. And it has a really good ability. It's got Power Napper. You can run like offensive with Awakening, but I think even with offensive, you pretty much still want to run Power Napper just to be more annoying. But it also has so many more moves. It's got Thunder Chomp. It's got Peace of Mind. It's got Rejuvenate. And it's got all these 4 moves. It's got Maroon, Gamma Pulse, Flash Pulse. There's just so much you can do with this thing. I'm pretty sure I've already said Chili Chomp. If I never, well, Chili Chomp. But this thing is also really bulky, as you can see. It's got so much health, and defenses are pretty decent as well. You can also run a mixed attacker as well, because its melee ranged attack and melee attack are pretty similar. That's what I'm doing right now with this one, that is. And yeah, Loomian just almost never dies. It can counter stuff like Garbantis, Sedimars, Tyrex, I think it Optigon. I think it can check Hunter. I'm not sure though. Joltooth maybe. I'm not sure about that though. I'm pretty sure you might be able to check Statosaur, or you might be able to counter it too, because if it most you down, that's fine. You have Peace of Mind to boost your range defense and your range attack, and it can't lower your range attack at all, so he's getting +6 range attack at that point. I'm pretty sure you can counter Sashi, you just can't do it at all. And if you run Mega Chomp, well, you're just gonna completely destroy it. I'm pretty sure even without Mega Chomp, just Peace of Mind alone, set up on it, and you're good. It can also, I think you can check Chartiki with Mega Chomp, I'm not sure though. And you can also check Zulong, I think. Anyways, I think number 11 is fine for Loomian. Let me check from recording. Yeah, I think that's fine for Loomian. Okay. So number 11. Sorry, not 11. Number 10 goes to Blowtox. I don't have a Blowtox either. But Blowtox is really good. It can spread poison and is Icicle Trap. So that's really good chip right there. It's got Rejuvenate to heal. And it's got Aqua Jaws, which is a pretty good water stab move, being able to lower melee defense. Its speed stat is so high it can actually speed creep Ikazunes. And it's got really good bulk. Pair that with its ability to set up Icicle Traps, which are really good right now, and to spread poison. And obviously it almost never dies with Rejuvenate, which is really good. I haven't really used Blowtox much, but when I fought face against it, it is really annoying. But just the amount of utilities thing can have is really good. It's also got Venom Chomp if you really want to run it, Hydro Slash if you really want to run it. But yeah, Blowtox is kind of underrated. Not many people are using it. I mean, I do see it here and there, but it definitely has been gaining more fame, and it probably will continue gaining more, because this thing is really scary right now. So yeah, I think Blowtox is really good. I'm pretty sure number 10 is actually fine for it. Number 9, we have Infernix, the ranged wall that can also be offensive. Yes, yeah. This thing's really good right now. Really offensive, defensive. It's got that annoying ability known as Power Napper. It's got recovery. It's got setup. It's got good stab. This thing is insane, and it works really well with Loomian too. Loomian is weak to plant types. Infernix got that. Infernix is weak to light types, while you just completely resist light types. So that's that. Infernix is weak to, what else is weak to? Earth types. Loomian's got that. Loomian is weak to dark types. Infernix has got most of them. That is. Yeah. So they work pretty well together. These things can also be run offensive with Pyro and Fire Breath, which is hitting really hard right there. You can also run a melee stat if you really want. Please don't. Do you see that melee attack stat? Yeah, you don't. But yeah, this thing actually is the hardest hitting fire type with Pyro. It hits harder than Eruptodon and Ikazune, as long as they're not boosted or anything like that. But yeah, Infernix is really good right now. There's just so much you can do with it. This thing is like the Vocaloa 2.0, because the last amount of people running range defensive Vocaloas. People run range defensive Infernixes, which is like the same typing as Vocaloa, but obviously this thing does it better because it has more recovery and better setup. So yeah, I think Infernix is really good right now. It's also got like Air Blade if you want to run it. Yeah, this thing's really good. Yeah, so moving on, we have Obsidian. Ever since Obsidian first came out, it was already good. This teaching ability makes this thing the best melee wall in the game. Well, one of the best melee walls in the game. I think Stratosaur just beats it. And yeah, that's it really. That's like the second best melee wall in the game. It's also got pretty good. It's got good stab with Primal Slash, and also it's got whatchamacallit. It's got really good recovery, Beast Lumber. It can also set up in almost any melee attacker's face, unless you're like Garbantus or Merc, which boost their own melee defense and well attack. I know Burr only boosts melee defense, but that kind of boosts battering ram too. So yeah. But this thing has got Mega Chomp for the light types are Earthquake, which is mostly run. A lot of the light types are weak. Well, some of the light types are weak to Earth anyway, because of their metal typing and stuff like that. Valkyrie Switch specifically. But yeah, it's also got a good stab with Primal Slash, which is really good. I can counter Hunter. I'm pretty sure it can counter Joltooth as well. Vesperatu, Your Soul. In some cases, Tyrex. I'm pretty sure it does lose to Trumbull though. But I'm pretty sure it can 1v1 Infernix. This thing has booted off a lot of the melee attackers from the meta, such as Umbra and stuff like that. Well, actually, okay, Umbra was never good when this thing was like really good. I was like, well, it just jolted up there, but yeah. Obsidian is a really good melee wall, probably one of the best. It can just sit up in your face, and when it does get going, it's gonna be pretty scary. Okay, moving on to Hunter. Now Hunter is number 7, right? Yeah, number 7. Hunter is number 7. This thing has insane coverage with its amazing speed. This thing is scary. A lot of people don't even run. A lot of the teams are really weak to Hunter. If I use Hunter, it's gonna stomp most likely, because a lot of people have a lot of people are really weak to Hunter right now. So people start running up Sidrigon more, and like Tyrex. You do see them here and there, but they're like not as common as it should be. Like already, like it can counter Stratosaur, and I'm pretty sure it can check Protagon. I think it can check, yeah, it should be able to check Joltooth, maybe Encounter, I'm not sure about that though. It can check, I think it can check Cephalops, I don't know, I don't think it can. It can check Vesperatu, let's see, what else can it check? Garbantus, possibly Log, it does have Clay Slap. I think it can check Startiki, but this thing is mainly run, it's mainly there for laking cleaning. And with that amazing coverage, it makes it kind of easy. So that's why this thing's really high. At this point, there's a lot of Loomians that can chip down a lot, such as Gobademic or Tyrex. Your Soul 2, Startiki. There's a lot of things that can just chip down a lot this meta. So I think Hunter is really good, also with that amazing coverage and just how hard it can hit with its ability. So that's just really good. But anyways, let's move on to number 6, Vesperatu. This is one of the only reasons why Mutagon is like just stomping everyone, because Vesperatu walls and just completely counters Mutagon really. This thing hits really hard. You can run very brawny. I just completely slap down everything, because this thing hits so hard to slap down. It can like Oko Luminami in some cases, and like many of the light types except Eclipse. So yeah. So yeah, this thing can just it can just hit so hard. It's got priority. It's got really good moves such as Phantom Slash, Slap Down. You can also run a ranged attacker with Spectral Burst and Dark Surge, which is really good. It's also got Sharpen if you really want to run it, but it's also got Revival, it's HP recovery. So if you do get low, well, you're just going to heal it all the way back up. And then this thing's also pretty fast. This thing's also pretty fast. It's got base 99 speed. And, yeah, it also, again, hits really hard. It's got the same base melee attack as Borak. Again, because the starter, it has a really high energy pool. If you run Nimble Clever, you can actually counter Cephalops. You can check Joltooth. What else? In some cases, you can check Luminami. You can check Hunter. You can really counter Malmerk. You can. I think you can check Valkyrie. But I think you can also check Sedimars, maybe, possibly. But then that thing has Blaze Jump, so maybe not. You can check Sachi, and you completely counter your soul. And I'm pretty sure you check Trumbolt too, or maybe even fully counter it because all of its moves are resisted. So Vesperado can check a lot of things. Called shit Gobademic. Pretty sure he said that. I think it can check Stratosaur. Maybe you can counter it actually. I think you can only check it actually. Never mind. But yeah, I think Vesperado is really good. I think number 6 is pretty good for it. Okay, now down to the top 5 Loomians in the game. Number 5. Actually, wait. I think I messed this up. Wait, no. Gobademic is meant to be 6th. Vesperado is meant to be the 5th best Loomian. Gobademic is meant to be the 6th best. Now, Gobademic, why is this thing so good? Because it gets Muck Blast. Really good stab. Trip Root. Well, you can hit, Tyrex, Sedimars, many of the Earth types really hard with that. And well, oh wait, you got Toxic types can counter this. Oh no, like Bug types like that. Oh god. This thing has Airblade now, so yeah, good luck with that. It's the fastest thing in the game, and it has Health Gift, which is really good right now because, well, since you outspeed like literally everything, besides Very Nimble Zulong. But if you run Very Nimble Gobademic, then you can outspeed it, but you probably don't want to do that because you want it to hit really hard with main fuel or Very Smart if you want to, which I'm running. But with that health gift, you can just instantly health gift and get something, all of its health back, and you don't really have to worry too much because you're almost always gonna get the health gift off, which is really good. It's got Provoke to break through walls. It can be annoying with Hypnotize. Yeah, I know it doesn't sound like much, but Gobademic is really good. It can also counter Malmerk, and I'm pretty sure it can also counter Chartiki. Yeah. I think it can check Upside Down because it's just how low Upside Down's range the bulk is and how hard Gobademic hits. I think it can also check Sachi. It can check Zulong. And yeah, it can also just chip down a lot. And it can late game clean too, which is also a really good factor about it. And yeah, I think Gobademic does deserve that top number 6 spot actually. Now changed because, well, it's definitely not better than Vesperado is the same. So yeah, I think Gobademic is fine in there at number 6. Okay, number 4, Stratosaur. I did have these two swapped. I had Protagon and Stratosaur swapped, but I swapped into this because Stratosaur is clearly not as good as Protagon. Why is this thing good? First of all, it can counter Eclipse. It can counter Obsidian, Sedimars. Actually, no, it can't. Garbantis, which is really scary. People are starting to run Garbantis a lot. You can check Chartiki. I think it can counter Trumbull too, maybe. I'm not sure though. But it has a couple checks and counters there. But the thing is, its utility, because Ice Core Traps are so scary right now, people are running Gust, which just completely gets rid of them. It can also counters some of those. It can counter every single setter in the game, like Icygol, Himber, Dorgo, and Terrify. It counters all of those, and you can just gust everything that they've done away to the point where they've accomplished nothing. This thing is just really annoying. If you run Very Clever, I'm pretty sure you can actually counter Cephalops, which is really good right now. So, and this thing's also got Perched Healing. It's got Reflection Burst. People run like sluggish ones so they can use Reflection Bursts. It's got Air Blade if you don't want to run Gust, because Gust is not really too strong, and Air Blade's got 70 power instead of Gust 40. But Gust utility is kind of better because this thing gets Metal Shriek, so you can just lower the defenses down. So, yeah. But again, you can still run Air Blade. So yeah, I think Stratosaur is really good right now. It can wall a lot of things. You can also run offensive with this thing. You can also the toxic filter can help Gust be a bit more powerful, but you're probably gonna be running using reflection burst unless it's like something Gust is effective against. This thing's also really passive too, so that's the thing. And so it's got a good energy pool too. Well, actually, it's got a decent energy pool. Yeah, it's got a decent energy pool too. And yeah, this thing's also mainly run as a melee wall. So yeah, I think Stratosaur deserves the number 4 spot because just how good its utility is, and it's like the couple things you can kind of check, and the things I can counter too, which are like kind of like lower, that we're just not on this list right now. Next up, we got the best Loomian cleaner in the game, Protagon. Ignore this, I don't have a PvP Protagon yet, but I haven't found one. Yay. And I can't even trade for one. That's nice. So Protagon is really good. Well, obviously that's what's on this list, but it's got a good stab with Metal Blast. Because its ability is Analyze, whichever defense is lower, so say if something's melee defense is lower, its melee attack will go off, and if something's range defense is lower, its range attack will go up. This thing is a range attacker, just keep that in mind too. Most of the things in this game are mainly melee walls, so they have lower range defense, so this thing almost always gets range, well, mostly gets range attack boost. And you might say, well, if I'm like have Cybervars on the field, or photos, or like a Malmark on the field, well then I can just heal all night and then just take it out. Well, this thing has a deja vu, so have fun with that. And it's also got Energy Surge and Thunder Strike, which is good coverage right there too. And it's also the second fastest thing in the game. But it does get, it's faster, it has a higher base speed than Zulong, but the thing is, many Zulongs run very nimble anyway, so that's just, yeah, so that's how Zulong can check Protagon. But Protagon, it's still really good. Again, just like I said, a lot of Loomians can now chip down stuff pretty well now. So Protagon is loving this meta right now. It checks Vespera too. It counters Stratosaur. I think it can counter Luminami. It should be able to. You can Deja Vu, set Mars. I'm pretty sure you can just KO it from there. I'm pretty sure it's 3 KO as long as you have a ranged attack boost. But you do get countered by stuff again, like Malmark, set Mars. I mean, you can Deja Vu them, but still, they're still going to be able to counter you. Well, in some cases, that's it, that is. And also got Chartiki. Chartiki can also heal and can also possibly catch it in a Deja Vu. But she just completely Chartiki just completely walls you, so it doesn't really matter. I'm pretty sure it can also counter your soul. Actually, no, it can't, because I don't think Energy Surge can actually OHKO. It might be able to, I'm not sure. But yeah, Protagon is literally the best, Loomian cleaner in the game. Next, we have Cephalops. This thing is nearly broken. If it wasn't for this thing and Clever, Nimble, Vesperatu, this thing would have been broken. Those are like those two are the only common counters for Vesperatu. But the thing is, to eclipse this, the thing is, Vesperatu doesn't really run clever, like ranged walls too much. They still run offensive mostly, but to eclipse kind of run everywhere right now. But anyways, Cephalops, it's also really annoying. It can set up icicle traps. It's got good coverage. It's also got Frost Beam, which not many people run. They just run Hypnotize instead. Oh god. They run. It has Tsunami, which is a 90 power water type move that's ranged, and it's also got Soul Drain, with its ability Bloodsucker and monstrous range attack. This thing is gonna hit really hard with it, because it's got Bloodsucker, which boosts draining moves, and Soul Drain drains health too. So this thing's getting a lot of health back too. And well, those defenses are pretty decent, but then it has the most HP in the game. It surpasses WikiWiki by 2. I'm not sure how to feel about that. WikiWiki should have like more HP. Maybe I should nerf the HP a bit, because WikiWiki should have way more HP than this thing, because then WikiWiki is very sad right now. Okay. Anyways, of course, it's a roamer, so it's gonna have like some of the highest energy pools in the game, and that it has monstrous range attack too, and it's also really good on Vein of Haste. So this thing's almost broken right now. Water Dark is also such broken typing too. It's weak to electric and light. I'm pretty sure that's the only weaknesses that it has right now. I might be missing. So, but yeah, those are really the only things. But that can hit it, that are super effective against it. The only types. It also has some resists. It resists light. It's not light. Dark, spirit. Plant. Where you said dark. Just a couple here that I'm missing. I just want to completely just go. I just want to go through this first. Oh yeah, ice. Metal. Flying. I think that's like I'm pretty sure that's like 6 resist right there, which is good. Everything else is either like super effective. Oh, it's also weak to poison. I forgot to say that it's weak to toxic. But everything else is really, and plant. I think actually no, it's not. But everything else, it kind of every other type is hits in neutral. So yeah. But yeah, Cephalops is nearly broken. If this thing was everywhere, this thing would have been broken. Okay, number 1, the best Loomian in the game is Joel Tooth. Psych. Teclipse. Teclipse is actually the best Loomian in the game right now. Why you may say? Walled-ish. Never mind that. Walled-ish. Walled, kind of. Well, actually, it's immune to like everything. Never mind. Walled. Also, its vengeance boost is with. Well, actually, yeah, it's probably gonna get vengeance boost most likely because like Teclipse is gonna be like theirs. It's like for like end game. But like, still, it's still gonna be kind of walled because if you run defensive with nimble clever, this thing's gonna wall everything. You can also run smart clever if you really want. It can also be run offensive. It's really good. Its ability is broken. It gives it 3 immunities. Its typing is decent, light, dark, and it's all right. Well, actually, okay, whatever. It's got 3 immunities that way. It's immune to spirit. It's immune to dark and light now. And if they hit you with a dark and light type or light type move, well, you get +1 speed, which is gonna be really scary. Let's see what has dark and light type moves. You have dark move, light move, dark move, dark move. If you're running Mega Chomp, dark move, light move, dark move, light move. If you want to do Chomp for the memes, then dark move. If you want chase down, dark move. No, use complete wall there, by the way. I'm pretty sure I already said that. Nothing there. Dark move, and dark move. There's so many things in the meta right now that have dark or light type moves. So a lot of things are gonna try and avoid using those moves, which ancient types and like maybe plant types are gonna really like. So it's pretty decent. It's pretty good for your team. It's also got a monstrous rage attack, and it's also got pretty good natural bulk, and it's got a decent energy stat, which is also really good. This thing's getting Dark Surge. I mean, this moveset right here is already good. It can hit pretty much everything neutral, and it's got Gamma Pulse to hit like stuff like Cephalops, super effective, and like best Proto 4 times super effective, like all the dark types super effectively, and like this. So it's unlocked a lot. It's walled by most plant types, but this thing's getting Dark Surge and it's confirmed. And like every plant type's gonna hate that. So this thing's about to be broken, literally broken when you get to Dark Surge, because it's gonna have so much coverage too. Oh, this thing's insane, and I feel like it is the best Loomian in the game right now. So there you have it. That is the top 25 best Loomians in the game, in my opinion. Please let me know what your list is, and if you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.